Ranger.
Hi-yo, Silver!
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver. The Lone Ranger.
Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
When the West was young, the rather elastic laws of the frontier attracted many colorful and slightly disreputable characters. Among them was Barnaby Boggs, rainmaker and medicine man. He plied these dubious trades with varying degrees of success until the Lone Ranger persuaded him to reform and buy a small ranch. However, Barnaby found it difficult to settle down, and when he learned of an opportunity for a more interesting career, he sold his ranch, stocked his wagon, and set out for the town of Larrabee.
Clementine! Adeline! Enough for this dawdling! Come on, girls! We'll never reach town at this rate.
There were men who hoped Barnaby Boggs would never reach Larrabee.
Is this indifferent performance a fitting return for the care I've lavished on you all these years? Hold on, what's the trouble? Take it easy.
Tonto, look. It's Barnaby Boggs. His horse has run away.
I didn't mean what I said. Hold on. Whoa! Take it easy. Slow down. I didn't mean what I said. I'm sorry. Slow down. Clementine! Stop! Please!
Hold on, Barnaby. We'll try to stop them.
Better hurry! My arm sockets are giving out! Whoa! Whoa! Oh, thank heaven you came along.
What are you trying to do, Barnaby? Kill yourself?
Oh, these ungrateful beasts resented some remarks I made.
I thought you'd given up your medicine show.
Please. I'm now a man of business. I'm opening a store in Larrabee.
What?
Yeah, daughter of an old friend offered me a partnership.
Oh, Marv Gorham's daughter.
Why, yes. Do you know her?
Her father died when the store catch on fire.
A tragic accident. Ellie was left without the means or the experience to carry on. She wrote me offering me a partnership if I'd help restock the store.
I admire your courage, Barnaby.
Well, thanks. I thought you would. My what?
You not know Will Motter?
Well, I've heard of him. He owns the Larrabee Emporium, but I don't
Before Gorham came to town, 2 other men tried to open stores in competition with Motter. They also met with accidents.
Oh, no.
This runaway could have been accidental, but I don't believe that it was. Look, that horse was hit hard with something.
What do you mean?
It probably means your runaway was caused by somebody who wants to get rid of you.
In that case, I'll turn around and...
Where you go?
Unfinished business at the ranch. Very important.
Wait. Motter has a monopoly that permits him to sell things for double or triple their fair price. Ellie must reopen her father's store in order to give Motter competition.
I'm sorry,
Are
gentlemen.
you going to let that girl fight that man by herself?
Well, no, but confound it, why do I always get mixed up in these things?
We'll try to protect you.
You try.
You not be sorry.
I'm sorry already. Well, what else do you want me to do besides get myself murdered?
Drive on into Larrabee as you planned. Tonto will go with you.
Where you go, Kemo Sabe?
I'll backtrack the wagon. If somebody started that runaway, perhaps I can pick up his trail. I'll meet you later back at camp, Tonto.
Every time I meet that fellow, it spells trouble, and plenty of it.
Good luck, Barnaby.
Good luck, he says. He smooth talks me into risking my neck and then wishes me good luck. Huh. Here we are, Tonto. The home of Boggs and Gorham Incorporated.
Place look all right.
Well, Ellie wrote me that she'd repaired most of the damage caused by the fire. Let's take a look inside.
Oh, Barnaby, you're here.
Of course I'm here. You didn't think I'd let you down, did you?
Oh, you're wonderful. Did you bring the stock for the... Oh, dear, I've gotten paint all over your coat. I've been painting the
Oh,
store.
perfectly all right, my dear. I just happen to have in the wagon a few bottles left of Boggs' Elixir of Youth. Keeps one young and healthy. And it also removes pain. Oh, Ellie, I want you to meet an old friend of mine. Tonto, this is Ellie Gorham.
I'm glad to know you, Tonto.
How are you?
Well, did you bring the stock for the store, Barnaby?
I sold the ranch for $4,000, and every cent of it's invested in the stock that's in that wagon. We'll have the finest store west of Dodge City.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, Mater hasn't done a lick of business ever since I announced our opening.
Mater? Well, where is his establishment?
Right across the street. The old skinflint's probably spying on us right now.
Then by all means, let's go inside.
It's not safe to leave wagon here alone. Better unload.
Oh, but there's wet paint all over the shelves and cupboards. We'll have to wait till tomorrow to unload.
Now, me drive wagon behind store. It's easy to guard back there.
That's a good idea, Tonto. Come on, Ellie. I don't like standing out here in the open. Feels like somebody's watching me.
Across the street, somebody was watching.
Oh, that idiot. That stupid, bungling idiot. I ought to wring his neck.
Hey, boss.
Look across the street, you bungling idiot.
Look, it wasn't my fault.
You can't stage a simple runaway without fouling things up.
Everything was going as planned until a masked man and an Indian rode in and stopped the horses.
Masked man and Indian?
Yeah.
Was the Indian riding a paint?
Yeah, and then he rode into town with Boggs.
I see. We've got to arrange another accident.
Well, you got any ideas?
Yes. That saddle bum that was in here yesterday looking for a handout. What's his name?
He called himself, Gig Austin.
Get him. Bring him around the back way.
All right.
Our friends are going out of business permanently this time.
After driving the wagon behind Ellie Gorham's store, Tonto left Barnaby on guard and rode for the Rangers' camp.
How's everything in town, Tonto?
Good. You find trail of man who start run away?
Whoever it was hid near the rocks by the road, but they cover their tracks too well.
That bad news?
Yes. A monopoly like Mater enjoys stifles free enterprise. We must make sure that Barnaby and Ellie open their store.
The store not ready.
Not ready?
A girl just paint store. Them not unload wagon till paint dry.
Where's the wagon now?
Behind store. Barnaby stand guard, but me promise to come back after talk with you.
Well, Barnaby isn't a very reliable guard. We'd better hurry.
I want to make sure we understand each other, Gig. I'm paying you for this one job. When it's over, you leave town.
That's all right by me.
Good. I want that wagon blown off the map.
There's just one thing.
What's that?
Suppose something goes wrong. Supposing I end up in jail.
Well, why should anything go wrong?
Well, it might.
All right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pay you $10 a day for every day you spend in jail.
You got yourself a deal.
Good. Here, cover that powder up with this. Go out the back way.
You're crazy for trusting that guy.
Why? He's going to leave town as soon as I pay him off. Nobody will ever see him again. Unless they dig for his body in the Badlands.
Hey, what are you doing?
Shut up or I'll blow your brains out. Get out, drop that thing.
But that's blasting powder.
I told you to shut up.
But it's going to blow up.
And you're going with it.
Keep back! Keep back!
You all right, Barnaby?
Blasting powder! It's going to explode! Hurry!
Stay back, Tonto.
He made it! For a minute, I thought he was going to...
Is he hurt?
Him just faint.
Well, take care of it. I'm going after that man. Come on, Silver.
On your feet. Why did you try to blow up Barnaby's wagon?
What's it to you?
I'm asking the questions. Did Motter hire you? And if you won't talk to me, maybe you'll talk to the law.
Maybe the law would be curious about that mask.
Get going.
There. You feel any better?
Oh, I think so.
Here come Kemo Sabe.
I told you he'd get him. You unmitigated scoundrel! If it weren't that I were a peace-loving man, I'd tear you limb from limb.
We'll let the sheriff take care of him, Barnaby. Has Tonto told you of our suspicions concerning Motter?
Yes, but I just can't believe that Father was murdered.
This attempt to destroy your wagon should convince you.
You're not pinning any killing on me.
If you're innocent of murder, you'll have a chance to prove it. You'd better come with us, Barnaby. We'll go the back way to avoid attracting attention.
Gladly.
All right, come on. Keep your eye on things, Tonto.
Me do.
Don't get any ideas, mister.
Hey, Motter.
What is it, Barney?
You know that masked man I told you about?
Yeah?
Well, he's taking Gig to the sheriff's office.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate? Don't you understand if Gig talks, we're ruined?
Oh, but he won't talk. That tramp hasn't made $10 a day in his whole life.
What's $10 got to do with it?
That's what I agreed to pay him if he went to jail.
Yeah, that's right.
The poor fool's probably hoping for a nice long sentence.
Motter was right. At Sheriff Dunn's office, after Barnaby had reassured the lawman about his friend's mask, they questioned Gig Austin a long time, but he stubbornly refused to admit anything.
That's a lie. Nobody hired me. I don't even know Will Motter.
Well, I guess it's no use. Maybe you'll be more reasonable after you've cooled off in a cell. Come on.
Well, we seem to have drawn a blank. What do we do next?
Well, I don't think Will Motter will give up just because one of his men has been caught. He'll try again.
That's what I'm afraid of.
If we bring free enterprise back to Larrabee, it'll be worth the risk. Barnaby, you're going to open your store on schedule.
I just hope I live that long.
By the end of the week, thanks to help from the Lone Ranger and Tonto, the firm of Boggs and Gorham was ready to open its doors to the public. The store had been guarded day and night, Barnaby sleeping in the storeroom, and either the Lone Ranger or Tonto secretly on watch outside, where they could observe, but not be seen.
Barnaby, it's just perfect. I just can't believe that tomorrow's our grand opening.
Well, I won't be here to see it if I don't get some sleep. I'm going to rig up my burglar alarm and go to bed.
It is late. I'll see you home.
Oh, you don't have to bother.
I'd feel better if I know you're safe.
You still think Motter may try something?
Perhaps.
Me stand guard outside till you come back.
Good.
Good night, Tonto, Barnaby.
Good night.
What you do?
Well, that's my burglar alarm. You see, I put a bunch of tin cans over there and a bunch of tin cans here. I tie a string there, and I run the string over to here, stretch the string tight. When anybody comes through the door, boom, it wakes me up.
Better you stay awake.
Evidently, you don't think much of my burglar alarm.
Nice going, Barney.
You set him up for me. I couldn't miss.
Come on. It's locked. Try the window.
Who's there?
Give me your knife. Grab him when he comes out. Back of the barrel.
Who's there? Come out, I've got you covered. Come out or I'll come after you.
That was too close.
Don't just stand there. We've got to work fast. Take this coal oil. Give me some of that. When this oil catches fire, this place will go up like gunpowder. All set?
Yeah.
Tonto, what happened?
I may not know.
Oh, Mater must have... I smell smoke. Tonto, the store is on fire.
Just in time, Kemo Sabe.
He must have been overcome by smoke before he could call for help. Get a doctor, Tonto. He's been seriously hurt.
Where am I? What?
You're at Ellie's house. The doctor just left. You're going to be all right.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. The fire. Tell me, did you save the store?
No, I'm sorry, Barnaby.
Oh. Every cent that Ellie and I had burned up. What are we going to do?
Save your strength, fella. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, there were two of them. I had my gun, but they jumped me.
Did you recognize them?
No, it was too dark.
But one of them must have been Mater.
I couldn't see.
Murdering coyotes done it again. We can't prove a thing.
Maybe we can.
You have proof?
Not yet, but if the sheriff will cooperate, we have a chance.
I'll do anything you say, mister.
Spread the word around town that Barnaby is still unconscious. That he'll name the man who knifed him as soon as he's able to talk.
I see what you mean.
If we frighten Mater enough, he may try something desperate.
They say Boggs will be conscious by morning. What are we going to do?
He's at the Gorham place. Huh?
Yeah, and there's a chance that he saw one of us.
That's why you're going out to the Gorham place and make sure he doesn't regain his
Oh,
consciousness.
now, wait a minute, boss. You're loco. They're probably watching him like a hawk.
I'll pay a call at the same time. While I'm talking to them in the living room, you sneak through the bedroom window.
That's awful risky.
Hanging is a lot riskier. Come on.
Your hunch was right. He's coming up the path now.
Good. Now you know what you're to do.
Yes. Oh, it's you.
I understand you think I had something to do with that fire tonight.
Raise your hands. Get his gun, Ellie.
What's the idea?
We think you did have something to do with the fire. Now head for the bedroom.
It's outrageous. A masked outlaw...
That's enough.
Him walk right in the trap.
Yes. Lie down on that bed.
The bed?
Does that frighten you? Go on.
What are you going to do with me?
We're going to tie you.
Why, it's an outrage. I demand an explanation.
Until we moved him to safety, Barnaby Boggs occupied this bed. You're taking his place.
I refuse to allow you to do this to me.
Hold still. Why so alarmed, Mr. Motter? You'll be as safe here as Barnaby would have been.
But you can't force me into this.
No legal right, perhaps, but we hope to achieve a certain poetic justice. Cover him up, Tonto. Turn out the lamp, Ellie. We don't want the light to disturb his sleep. Come on, Tonto. All right, Ellie. Rest well, Mr. Motter.
No, wait. Don't.
Don't make a sound, Barney. I'll just borrow these. Take care of them, boys.
Barney, go away. It's me, Motter. Don't you understand? Our plan is going wrong. I'm Motter, not Boggs. No, stop. Help! He's trying to kill me. He's got a knife. Don't let him.
I have a knife, but I wasn't going to use it.
How did you know that Varney was coming here to kill Boggs?
I didn't know.
You called the sheriff Varney. You spoke of a plan. It's no use, Motter. You've said enough to convict yourself of arson and attempted murder.
My men have Varney outside. Perhaps after he's talked, we can make more serious charges. Come on. Hello, Ellie. How's Barnaby getting along?
Why don't you ask him yourself?
Hello, Sheriff. Nice of you to call. What's the news?
Well, both Arson and Varney have confessed. Motter will have a hard time escaping justice this time.
That's great.
What's more, he'll have to pay for all the damage he's done.
The store. That means we'll be able to reopen after all.
That's right. Say, we'll have the monopoly now. We'll be able to charge as much as we want to.
We'll do no such thing, Barnaby Boggs. We're going to give people fair value.
We are?
We are.
Well, I guess that's about all. Only you never did tell me much about your masked friend. He's the one we should thank.
He's more than just my friend. He's a friend to all honest folks needing help. You see, Sheriff, he's the Lone Ranger.
Hi-yo, Silver! Ahoy! The Lone Ranger. Hi-yo, Silver! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-yo, Silver. The Lone Ranger. Hi-yo, Silver! Away! With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
At the close of the Mexican War, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848 gave to the United States a vast tract of land that became known as the Southwest Territory. Its populace consisted mainly of people of Spanish descent, honest, hard-working people who were eager to cooperate as new citizens of the United States, but who were often unaware of their newfound rights as free citizens. In one section of the territory, this situation tempted ignorant and greedy men to exploit the people for selfish and short-sighted ends. To enforce their criminal demands, outlaws boldly held up stagecoaches in broad daylight. Peaceful men who refused to submit to blackmail were often shot down in ambush. The homes of innocent victims were set afire and burned to the ground. For a time, this section was one of the most dangerous areas in the early days of the West. When the governor heard rumors of this condition, he called upon two men who had helped him before, Tonto and the Lone Ranger.
What's the matter, Tonto? Wait.
Me hear 2 or 3 horses running fast. Not far.
Over there, Tonto.
Look, Tonto. 2 men chase a man on horse.
Come on, Silver.
Don't drop.
They're wearing a mask.
Don't be alarmed. If you're on the side of the law, we want to help you.
A masked man and an Indian. Great white horse. I always wanted a white horse because I wanted to be like a certain masked man. Could it be that...
Him Lone Ranger.
And you are Tonto?
Why you run away from men?
It's a long story. My name is Rodrigo. Rafael Rodrigo.
I recognize the name. Your family has a large ranch in the valley.
But no longer, sir.
You sold it?
It was stolen from us by a murderer named Andrew Gage.
We'll camp here, Tonto, and listen to Rafael's story.
Something funny about this.
Yeah, I didn't figure the kid was smart enough to dodge us.
What'll Gage do?
What can he do? Kill us?
This is very good.
You eat more bread.
Thanks, Tonto.
Rafael, you said that a man named Gage took over your ranch. How did he do that?
Well, he is the tax collector for the whole valley. He simply kept raising the taxes until we could no longer pay them.
You call him murderer?
Yes, I did. I'm sure he's the one who killed my father.
That's a very serious charge, Rafael. Can you prove it?
I can only tell you what has burned in my memory for 10 long years.
Go on.
When I was 12, my mother died. My father took us on a trip to Mexico to help us forget our sorrows. But on the way back, we were held up and robbed by 3 masked men. When their leader thought that we were holding back money from him, he demanded that I be searched. My father tried to protect me, and then it happened.
Mister, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. You see what I mean, kid? Never argue with a man who has a gun. The gun is power, and a man with power has everything his own way. Search the kid. Not bad for a day's work, huh? But after this, I think we better think of a different scheme.
He killed my father in cold blood. And then I knew that I would never forget that voice as long as I lived. Years later, I had dreams, nightmares about his voice. For years, my grandfather, Don Esteban, took care of me. And then a few weeks ago, after 4 years of college in the East, I returned home to find that evil days had fallen upon our ranch.
It is like that throughout the valley, Raphael.
But is there no money to pay the taxes?
Well, like myself, most of the others have already given all their money to save their land. My last payment of gold was not enough. The tax collector wanted more.
Who is this tax collector?
Well, he is the only government official in the valley. He's been here but a few years. His name is Andrew Gage.
The name is Colonel Andrew Gage. Who are you?
This is my grandson, Rafael Rodriguez.
I didn't know you had a grandson.
Well, he has been away to school in the East ever since his parents died.
So, instead of paying your taxes, you spent your money on a fancy schooling for the kid.
I read books that say in America people should not be subjected to excessive taxes.
The people in this territory are subject to anything I say.
What is this?
The official notice that this property has been legally confiscated, that the land, house, and furnishings will be sold for back taxes.
Confiscated by whom?
By the government, of course.
That is you.
Yes, that's right. Any more questions?
Yes. Why does a tax collector wear a uniform?
To remind the people of this valley that I represent the authority of the United States government, and as such am to be respected.
I don't believe you represent any authority.
No? Ruth, Ben! See to it that these two get off this government property and stay off now. I'm taking this rancho over as my temporary headquarters. Well, what are you staring at? Get out.
Get going. I don't want to see your faces around here again.
Grandpa. Gage's voice.
What?
Think, Grandpa. 10 years ago, the bandits who held up our buggy, who killed my father.
I could not know him.
It is the voice of the bandit leader, I'm sure of it. Come.
Where are we going?
To the governor, to tell him that Gage is a murderer.
What proof have you?
None. None except my own memory.
Yes, the memory of a second-class citizen. No, my son, no one will believe you. Others have tried to fight Gage, and they have met with disaster.
I'll fight him on his own terms.
What can you do?
Rob his collectors. Use the gold to help our friends. Give it to them in case Gage tries to steal their property.
But they would kill you.
They'll have to catch me before they can kill me.
It is a desperate thing, son. I wish you good luck.
Thank you, Grandpa. Come. That was almost 2 weeks ago. Since then, I have done all I could to protect our people from Gage's men. This morning, I saw 2 of them holding up an old man. I opened fire, and I missed. They came after me, and that's when you saw me.
Me think this man Gage traitor.
Yes, Tonto. The people of Sabine Valley are new citizens, but they have the same rights as any other Americans. To be victimized by a corrupt official, that must be stopped.
Yes, but what can we do? Gage has now stolen practically all my people's money.
Where does he keep it?
In a safe at the old hacienda. But he's living there now.
Him makes stealing look legal.
Yes, Tonto, and that may be his undoing.
What do you mean?
Gage has probably kept records of his money and his tax rates. Those records would provide convincing evidence for the governor to take immediate action.
We get them now, Kemo Sabe?
No, Tonto, I want you to help Raphael.
Whatever you say.
A signed petition of complaint from the people against Gage would help complete the evidence.
I understand. I'll draw one up right away and have all the people sign it.
Very well. And now if you'll tell me how to get to Gage's headquarters.
Of course.
Andrew Gage and I have some business to settle.
I'm tired of excuses. You let a schoolboy make a fool out of both of you. Must I do everything myself? Ruth, see who it is.
Don't make a sound. Get over here.
Where's Ruth? I have a lot more to say to you two.
Shall I get him?
Yeah.
There's no need for that. Drop your gun. I'll tell you where your friend is. He's outside, tied and gagged. Now move away from that desk. At once.
Who are you and why the mask?
I've no time for questions. Open the safe. Get over there alongside of him.
money in that safe belongs to the United States government. If you take that, you'll never get out of this territory alive.
If I don't take it, you two men will.
Oh, I'm shot.
That bullet didn't touch your hand, Gage. Let it be a warning.
I ain't never seen shooting like that.
All right, you two. Get over by the fireplace. Come on.
Whoever you are, I'll kill you for this.
Like the man you killed in the buggy holdup 10 years ago?
Hey, boss, who is he?
Shut up. You've got the wrong man, mister.
I have? Isn't it unusual for a tax collector to have handcuffs? Here. Snap one on his wrist. Put the other one on yourself. Now turn around. Now lie down on the floor.
All right, stranger, get it over with.
Is it painful, Gage? You should know. Cowards die 1,000 times before they're really dead. Keep your face to the floor. Now don't move.
Come now. You not followed, Kemo Sabe?
No, Tonto, I left several false trails in case they tried to come after me.
Oh, you think of everything.
Do you have the petition?
We could have had more signatures if we had tried longer.
Good. This cannot fail to impress the governor.
You bring gold and records?
Yes, I have them in the saddlebags. I want to get them to the governor as quickly as possible.
And me go with you.
Rodrigo's life may be in danger. He may need your help.
My grandfather, Don Esteban, is hiding at a shack at the end of our ranch. We might stay with him.
Good. I'll meet you there tomorrow when I return. Adios.
Good luck, sir.
You put out fire, me take care of other things.
Careful and hurry.
There you are, boss.
Now let's get after that outlaw.
Hold it. There's no telling where he's hiding. It may take us days to find him now.
What I don't figure is why'd he take those tax records?
Yeah, you'd think he'd be satisfied with just the gold.
Wait a minute. Remember about 10 years ago we held up a buggy? There was an old man and his kid. His name was Rodrigo.
Yeah, and you knocked him off.
But not his kid.
I don't follow you.
The kid is Rafael Rodrigo.
Well, what's he got to do with the masked man?
He must have told him about the holdup.
What?
It fits. When I first saw Rafael Rodrigo a couple of weeks ago, he kept staring at me. I couldn't figure it out then. But I think he was listening to my voice and remembering.
So?
He's behind this. He's out to build up a case against me.
Then we better clear out.
No, not until we get that gold back.
And the records?
It may take them days, weeks before they do anything about them.
That Rodrigo kid will be as hard to find as a masked man.
Maybe not. He'll stay close to Esteban, and Don Esteban's too old to go very far.
Then you figure they're hiding somewhere around here.
Exactly. I want you two to search every cabin and line shack in the radius of a couple of miles.
And if we find him?
I want him brought back here alive. Hold it. I'm going to write a note that you're to leave wherever you find Don Esteban.
Sometime later, Tonto and Rafael rode toward the hiding place of Rafael's grandfather, unaware that Gage's henchmen have been there before them.
There it is, Tonto.
But me not see sign that man live there.
Don Esteban keeps his horse hidden behind those trees.
Me still think it too quiet.
Maybe you're right, Tonto. To whom it may concern, Don Esteban has been found guilty of aiding and abetting a masked rider. For this crime against the government, he must be shot at sunrise tomorrow. Signed, Andrew Gage.
But Gage is tax collector. Him have no right to say men be shot without trial.
He will do it, though, Tonto. If only to prove his power.
The governor stop him.
But we have no time to reach the governor. We must try to rescue my grandfather.
Not now. We try after dark.
But I cannot stay here while they may be torturing him.
You're no good to grandfather if caught now.
I'm not so sure. Maybe you're right, Tonto. But we'll need some fire for our supper. But there is no wood.
Me go find some.
Thanks, Tonto. I'll see what there is to eat.
Huh?
We found him in the last line shack we came to. He swears he hasn't seen the kid since yesterday.
What is it you want now? My life? Take it.
You doddering old fool, your life means nothing to me.
Then it is my grandson, Raphael.
Let him go at once. It is all right, Grandpa. I gave myself up so they will let you go.
No, Raphael. Please, whatever he has done, spare him. Take my life instead. I am an old man, but he is so
Grandpa.
young.
Take him out.
Please, take me instead.
Out. Come on, Pop.
He's not leaving, you know.
What is your price?
The gold and records that were taken from me several hours ago.
Impossible.
You've no time to bargain. That masked man you hired to steal it. You told him too much.
That you're a murderer?
That will cost you your life.
I expected that.
You forget Don Esteban.
No. He would not want me to buy his life at your price.
Well, that's big, brave talk, Rodrigo.
No, it isn't. I am afraid to die, and so is he. But we will be dying for a good cause.
You will? How?
Those records are on their way to the governor.
I don't believe you. You have until tomorrow morning to tell me truly where the records and gold are.
I have nothing more to say.
And at sunrise tomorrow, you'll both stand before a firing squad and be shot.
Meanwhile, riding far into the night without stopping, the Lone Ranger urged his great horse Silver on toward the governor's mansion.
Yes? Oh, it's you. Come in.
Governor, I've just come from the Sabine Valley.
Whatever you found out must be very urgent.
After you've seen the evidence, I think you'll agree that it's most urgent.
What's this?
This is a petition of complaint from the people of the valley, protesting the dictatorial abuse of power by their tax collector, Andrew Gage. His own tax records will bear witness that these charges are true.
These are very serious accusations. Let's see those records.
Meanwhile, Tonto, suspecting where young Rafael Rodrigo has gone, cautiously approaches the headquarters of the tax collector.
Listen to this. Having been convicted as a traitor, it is ordered that Rafael Rodrigo shall be shot. The execution will take place tomorrow at dawn in the courtyard. Read it to Rodrigo and the old man, and to as many people as you can find in the village.
Gonna do it up in style, huh?
That's right. Ben is out rounding up some of our men for a firing squad now.
What's the use of that? One man can do it.
A firing squad is more official. I'll watch the execution from the porch. The main gate will be open for everyone to come in and see.
There may be a riot.
And it's up to you and Ben to see that there isn't. Get moving.
Raphael. Tonto, it's too dangerous for you to be here. Tonto think you kept by traitor. Me bring saw for bars.
No, you don't, Injun. Don't touch that gun. Throw the saw over here. Now drop your gun. Other hand. Looks like the Rodriguez will have company in the morning. Over to the ranch house.
This man is nothing short of a monstrous criminal. A dictator.
And a suspected murderer as well.
It's a blow to the freedom of Americans everywhere. Every minute he's allowed to force his will upon free people. When can we leave for Sabine Valley?
Just as soon as you're dressed, Governor.
Well, what are we waiting for? I'll have the captain follow us with the militia.
Just a few more miles, Governor.
Good, let's go.
Let him come now.
Well, are you prepared to die?
I'm as ready as any man.
Good. Then perhaps you'd still like to help the rest of the people in the valley.
How?
By making a full confession in the courtyard.
Of what?
that you're guilty of treason in defying my authority, and that for their own good, the others must obey my orders without question. That as American citizens, it is their duty. Well?
I will talk to them.
Raphael.
Take him.
In the courtyard of the old Rodrigo ranch house, the murmur of the crowd swelled as Rafael Rodrigo took his place.
Don't want it.
Suit yourself. It's your shooting. Everything's all set, boss.
Right. Does the prisoner have anything to say before he dies?
Yes, I have. Fellow Americans, this great new country of which you are now citizens is dedicated to the principle of equal justice for all men. If I have violated that principle, then it is right that I must die.
Never mind the oratory. Get on with it.
But you all know that I have fought against injustice. And my last words for you are that you must do the same. Fight with every weapon you have to wipe out these criminals who defy the law, like that tyrant over there.
That's enough. Shoot him!
Tell your men to drop their guns.
No.
Do it or you die.
All right. Drop your guns.
Now release the prisoner.
Ben, set the prisoner free. You'll never get away with this.
No? Look over toward the main gate. That's the governor, Gage. The troops will be here any minute.
Those records.
The governor's seen them all.
Gage's efforts to appear as a legitimate servant of the government went for nothing, as the governor ordered that he be held to account for his conduct.
Take him away.
Will you need Tonto and me for the hearing, Governor?
Not for the hearing, but the West will always need you.
How can we ever repay you?
You're Rafael Rodrigo?
Yes, sir. And this is my grandfather, Don Esteban.
Oh, a pleasure.
I am honored, senor. This was our home for many years.
It still is. And all the others that have lost their homes shall have them back, along with the excessive monies they've been taxed.
That is good, senor. I thank you. Also the masked man and his Indian friend. Raphael, who are they?
My grandfather. They are Tonto and the Lone Ranger.
Silver, away! The Lone Ranger. Hi-yo, Silver! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-yo, Silver. The Lone Ranger. Hi-yo, Silver! Away! With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Get him.
Reach, Reverend. Keep him hard.
If you know I'm a reverend, you must also know I don't carry a gun.
Yeah, we know that. But we're taking no chances.
I don't quite understand what you expect to gain by this holdup. Most preachers are very poor, and I'm one of the poorest.
We know that too, Reverend. But maybe today you're not so poor as usual.
What do you mean?
You've been out riding the circuit for 2 weeks now, Reverend. I reckon you must have collected quite a bit of money for that church you plan to build in Gold City.
Oh, not a lot of money. $742.30 to be exact.
Well, that'll do nicely, Reverend. Supposing you just hand it over, quiet-like.
I'm sorry, but that's not my money to give you.
In that case, I guess we'll have to use force.
Now climb out of that buggy. I don't see why you're so dead set against having a church in Gold City. It's the most sinful town in the territory.
The town suits us just as it is.
The money isn't in the buggy. You must have it on him.
Get it.
Hand it over, Reverend.
You're mighty brave with that gun in your hand. You use it against women and children, too?
You listen to this psalm singer. He sounds like he wants to fight for the money. All right, Reverend, if that's the way you want it. I don't have to shoot you to take it away from you. There's an easier way. Put up your dukes.
If I win, I get to keep the money?
Reverend, if you knock me down just once, I'll retire to an old lady's home.
Ah, cut your bragging and get that cash.
Sure, just as soon as I mussed up the Reverend a little. I'm waiting, Reverend.
So am I.
Oh, I get it. You don't want to strike the first blow, huh? All right, I'll do it for you. Fancy Dan here.
You had enough? You said if I knocked you down once.
Why, you low-down, mealy-mouthed Bible spunk.
That's enough, Reverend.
Let me get
Hold it. You'd open up your big mouth and show off. Just because a man's a preacher doesn't mean he can't fight. We've played enough games, Reverend. Hand over that money. If you don't, we'd just as soon shoot you as not. You know that.
All right. Take it. But I warn you, I'm not going to rest until I get it back. That money belongs to the Lord, and his wrath is mighty.
Reverend, if we were scared of the wrath of the Lord, we wouldn't be holding up a preacher.
Come on, I'm getting tired of listening to this psalm singer. Let's go.
You better travel far, gentlemen. The arm of the Lord is long.
Hallelujah, Reverend. Don't ever forget the 8th commandment. Thou shalt not steal.
Don't you forget it.
Let's go.
Come in.
Morning, boss.
Howdy.
Want a new headline for tomorrow's edition of your paper?
Such as what?
Such as Reverend Randy Roberts, held up by 2 masked outlaws, robbed of $700.
Sure he had no idea who you are, that you work for me.
With those masks we wore, how could he?
Roberts is nobody's fool. That's why I consider him a dangerous man.
Well, if he's so dangerous, boss, why'd we bother to rob him of a measly $700? Hardly seems worth a while.
It's not the amount that's important, Wolf. It's what he intended doing with it.
You don't figure one poor preacher's gonna put us out of business, do you?
Not Roberts alone. But if he gets enough followers, we're in real trouble. I've made this a wide open town, and I want to keep it that way. There's more and more free spenders pouring in every day. As long as they keep throwing their money away in my gambling houses and dance halls, we'll all make big profits.
Well, I don't see how the Reverend can change that just by building one little church.
A church is a rallying point, that's how. There's plenty of God-fearing folks in this town. All they need is a meeting place and a leader, and they'll start clamping down on us.
Don't worry, boss. That church is never going to be built.
You bet it isn't. Now, you keep your eyes and ears open. If he raises any more money, I want that, too. Gold City belongs to us, and no preacher's going to take it away from us.
You returned quickly, Tonto. Did you find out much in Gold City?
Me learn plenty, Kemo Sabe. Bad reports we hear all true.
What makes you so sure?
Me walk all over town, keep eyes and ears open. There are many gambling houses, dance halls, and saloons.
Have you any idea who owns them?
Me stop in cafe, listen to talk. Seems biggest man in town, newspaper editor. Him own many buildings. Me buy a copy of paper, it tell plenty.
I should say it does. Mostly advertisements for places where men can throw their money away. Surely there are some people who want to oppose this kind of thing.
There are plenty, Kemo Sabe, but them not organized. Only man in town who fight back is young Reverend Randy Roberts. Him try to close evil places, but him not get very far. Him not carry gun.
Randy Roberts. Yes, I've heard of him. He's a circuit preacher. He made quite a fine reputation for himself back in Kansas.
Him trying to build church. Yesterday, him robbed by 2 masked men. Them steal church money.
So they'd stoop as low as that. Where's Randy now, Tonto?
Him leave town early this morning. Say him hunt thieves and get money back. Build church no matter who try to stop him.
I like his spirit. He sounds like a man who will fight evil no matter how great the odds. I wonder which direction he headed.
You want to find him?
Yes, I'd like a little talk with him.
Him cover plenty territory. May be hard to track down.
Well, he's bound to come back to Gold City sooner or later.
Maybe him not find what him look for.
Let's hope that he doesn't, at least not yet.
And what we do?
We'll head for Gold City just as soon as we've eaten, Tonto.
We look for Reverend Roberts there?
Reach! Keep your hands away from your guns. If you're looking for Reverend Roberts, you don't need to look any further. You've found him.
Well, hello, Reverend. Why the gun?
Because guns are all you outlaws seem to understand. Now, there won't be any trouble if you'll just toss me the church money you stole from me yesterday.
We not steal money from you.
I can't prove it was you. Both your faces were too well covered by masks. But if that big white horse I saw back there is not the same one I saw yesterday, it's a twin brother.
I assure you it's not the same one, Reverend.
I'm sorry, but your word's not good enough for me, mister. You may be wearing a different mask, but your build's just about the same as the fellow who robbed me. Now, where's the money?
With the men who stole it from you, wherever they are.
You won't cooperate, huh? All right, I'll take you back to town and turn you over to the sheriff.
And if we refuse to go?
I have a gun on you.
But would you use it?
What makes you think I wouldn't?
I've always heard that the Reverend Randy Roberts does his persuading with words, not bullets.
You seem to know a good deal about me.
Enough to be convinced that you wouldn't shoot 2 innocent men.
You be careful, Kemo Sabe.
If the Reverend really means to use that gun, all he has to do is shoot once in the ground in front of me and I'll stop.
You're quite right, mister. I wouldn't use it. It isn't even loaded.
I would have been disappointed in you, Randy, if it were.
You're a funny kind of outlaw.
I've already told you, Tonto and I are not outlaws.
Prove it.
That gun really is loaded. You have the drop on me if you want to use it.
All right, I believe you. You're no outlaws.
Even with my mask?
I don't judge men by what's on their faces. I judge them by what's in their hearts. And I see nothing bad in yours. This is a mighty handsome weapon you carry, friend.
I wouldn't have handed it over to you so willingly if I didn't know that most preachers were notoriously poor shots.
Is that a fact?
Where you learn to shoot like that?
Ever hear of Rifle Roberts?
The gunman who was killed years ago in a Denver holdup.
It was my father. I reckon I learned to shoot from him.
Your father outlaw?
I'm afraid so, Tonto. When I was a boy, my mother and I saw enough shooting and killing to last us for the rest of our lives. For years, I watched the suffering that my father and men like him caused innocent people. I guess it was what made me turn to religion. Somehow, I wanted to make amends for his crimes.
You couldn't have picked a better way, Randy.
I'd like to think so, but right now I'm getting nowhere fast. I'm up against men worse than my father, and even with the Lord's help, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to beat them all alone.
You're not alone any longer, Randy. Tonto and I are on your side.
Say, thanks. I sure need you. Look, why don't we pick this stuff up and get on back to my place? We can talk better there. You'll excuse me if I feed Esmeralda first. She gets very impatient if she isn't fed on time.
The bird make plenty funny noises. You have it long?
Ever since I can remember. She's the only thing my father ever left me that I cared to keep.
Her no words?
Oh, just a few that my father taught her. I don't encourage her to use them anymore. They sound rather strange in a preacher's home.
Me like to hear bird talk.
All right, Tonto. Dad taught her to only answer to certain nonsense syllables. Esmeralda. Abracadabra.
Oh, that's plenty good.
Alakazam.
Reach, I said.
Bird plenty smart. Her say more?
No, I'm afraid that's her entire vocabulary, Tonto. I've been trying for years to teach her to say something more suitable, like, praise the Lord. But she refuses to learn. I reckon she's just an outlaw at heart.
It's too bad she isn't smart enough to give us the names of those 2 crooks who held you up yesterday.
Well, I know one man who could give us their names. I'm sure of that.
Frank Ferris.
How did you know?
Tonto did some investigating in town. He also brought me a copy of Ferris's newspaper.
Well, then there's no need my telling you why I'm so sure he's behind all my trouble.
Supposing Ferris were smoked out into the open as the man who's trying to prevent organized religion in Gold City, wouldn't that destroy a great deal of his power?
Mister, it'd put every decent citizen in this town behind me. But how are we going to expose him?
There may be a way. The one thing he seems to fear most, Randy, is that you'll get your church built. Apparently, he'll stop at nothing to prevent it.
He certainly stopped at nothing so far.
If he thought that you had the money to build your church, he'd have to go into action again, wouldn't he?
Yes, but where am I going to get the money?
You're not going to get it. We'll merely let him think you have. Tonto?
Huh?
Do you think you could pose as the Indian servant of the fabulously rich Abner Doolittle?
Abner Doolittle? Who him?
Merely a figment of our imagination. But he also may be the man who finally gets Randy's church built.
Hey, boss.
I'm busy, Wolf. I have to approve these plans for the new gambling house.
I know, but there's an Injun outside. Wants to take out an ad in the paper, a full-page ad.
Good. If he's got the money, let him do it.
He's got the money, all right, but I just thought you'd want to know this ad is for raising funds for the Reverend's new church.
Why does an Indian want to take out a full-page ad for a church?
I don't know. He was kind of cagey.
Send him in to me. I'll handle him. And be polite.
Oh, Mr. Ferris, I'd like you to know Henry Brightfeather.
Mr. Brightfeather, it's a pleasure to know you.
I'm glad to know you, too.
Wolf, pull up a chair for Mr. Brightfeather. Sit down, won't you?
Here you are.
Thank you, Wolf.
We don't often get an order for a full-page ad, Mr. Brightfeather. That's why I want to take care of you personally.
Now, that's very kind of you.
I understand you want to help raise funds for a church in Gold City.
Now, that's right. The man who sent me, him have plenty money. Hear many good things about young preacher. Want to help him build church.
Who is this man who sent you?
You know feller named Abner Doolittle?
Abner Doolittle? No, I can't say that I do.
Plenty rich. Him live in East. Believe plenty much in religion. Him come west to help Reverend Roberts. Send me ahead to make arrangements.
I see. And when does this Mr. Doolittle arrive in town?
Me not sure. Him say him meet me at Reverend Roberts' house this afternoon, maybe.
And he'll have the money for the church with him?
Enough to start building. Rest of money come in when people read ad in paper.
Mr. Brightfeather, I can't tell you how happy I am about all this. Our town needs a church, and I plan to make one of the largest contributions myself.
You just tell my typesetter what you want the ad to say, and he'll print it for you.
That good. Me leave ad money with you?
I wouldn't hear of it. An ad for such a worthy cause would be glad to print it free.
That's very generous of you.
Oh, by the way, I presume you'll be going to the Reverend's house now to wait for Mr. Doolittle.
That right. Me be there.
Give my regards to Randy. And we'll set the ad up in the biggest type we have.
Ah.
Did you take his ad, boss?
I pretended to. What else could I do? You ever hear of a rich old geezer named Abner Doolittle?
No, who's he?
Some crackpot who's putting up the money for that ad. Seems to be hipped on religion.
One ad can't hurt much.
It's worse than that. This Doolittle fellow's on his way here now with enough money to start building the church. He's turning it over to the Reverend this afternoon.
Is that all? Well, don't you worry about that, boss. As soon as he gets that money, Jed and me will see that he turns it over to us.
I'm going to see what I can find in our files about that Doolittle fellow. If he's as rich as the Indian says, we must have some record of him. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you what I want you and Jed to do.
Hey, I think Ferris took the bait. Look.
You're right. Look like someone coming toward the house.
I see them now. There's two of them.
They're the same two who robbed me yesterday. They're wearing the same masks.
Them take plenty care to cover faces.
It's essential that we see those faces. Now, you understand what to do, Randy.
Now, we'll let them take Tonto on me by surprise. We'll put up no resistance.
Right. There's less chance of either of you getting hurt that way. Leave the rest to me.
You take the front of the house, I'll take the back. I'll let out a whistle when I'm ready.
Right. In case of trouble, I don't want Esmeralda to get hurt. Strangers usually make her nervous.
Stick 'em up.
Reach fast.
Get over by that stove.
You gentlemen certainly are persistent. You stole all the money I had yesterday. What do you expect to steal today?
We better tie him up while we're waiting for Doolittle. See if there's some rope in the kitchen. I'll cover him.
Right.
Only two men know me come here. Newspaper editor and man who work for him. That who you are, maybe?
Why, Injun, you don't think a respectable newspaper editor like Frank Ferris would be involved in a holdup, now do you?
Here's all the rope we need.
Good. Sit in those chairs. Tie him up. You're gonna need an awful lot of help from the Lord to get out of this mess, Reverend.
Sometimes help comes from places where you least expect it.
Yeah? Where?
Right behind you. Don't draw, you'll get the same medicine. Tonto, Randy, get their guns. All right, get over alongside your friend. And now, gentlemen, since you so conveniently supplied the ropes, we're going to tie you up and ask you a few questions before we send for the sheriff. Sit down. Keep your eye on him, Randy. Now we know what you look like. Do you recognize them, Randy?
Of course. It's Wolf Cady and Jed Glisson. They work for Ferris.
That's right. Me see this one in Ferris's office.
You still deny he sent you?
We deny everything. Just because we work for Ferris doesn't mean he sent us here.
In that case, we'll have to assume that you two are the masterminds behind these holdups, and that you're willing to assume the full responsibility for them.
If we talk, will you see we get a square deal?
You'll get justice, nothing more.
Shut up. The boss will get us out of this.
You're fools to keep protecting Ferris. You'll end up paying for his crimes as well as your own.
Why don't you let the Reverend do the preaching, mister?
All right, Tonto. It looks as though they don't want to cooperate. It's time to turn them over to the law. Get the sheriff.
Me go.
Try not to let Ferris get wind of this. If he's in on it, we don't want him making an escape.
Me be careful.
One word and you're dead.
You in there.
Your Indian friend's my prisoner and my gun's in his back. Open this door and stand back with your hands up or I'll fill him full of lead.
That's Ferris' voice.
I'm afraid he's telling the truth for once.
I'll take a look.
You with a mask. Throw those guns of yours out in the hall. Remember, one false move and this Indian's dead. Get over there. Mr. Abner Doolittle, I presume.
The old geezer never showed up, boss.
Of course not, you fool. There is no Abner Doolittle. What makes you so sure? My newspaper has a complete file on every rich man in America. There's no Abner Doolittle among them. That's when I figured out who you must really be. Only one man would be smart enough to dream up a trap like this. The Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger?
That's right, Reverend. Only this time he's outsmarted himself.
Meaning what?
Meaning that you and the Indian and the Reverend have learned too much for your own good. You've left me only one way to be sure you don't ever talk.
You mean you'd kill us all in cold blood?
As the good book says, Reverend, smite thine enemies. I intend to do just that.
I think you'll find it says a good deal more about forgiving thy enemies.
And isn't there another passage, Reverend? Something about the Lord sent an angel of vengeance who cried out in a loud voice?
An angel indeed. Where is it, Reverend? I don't see it. Does it come in answer to a prayer, or do you have to burn incense and utter magic words?
If a man has faith, sometimes all he needs is a magic word to summon help.
You better utter the magic words then, Reverend, because your time is about up.
I don't know any magic words. Just prayers.
I think you do, Reverend. Why not try something simple like Alakazam?
Stick 'em up.
That was no human voice.
If you're so sure, why don't you turn around and look? You were right, friend. The Lord does hear magic words, and I know another one. Abracadabra.
Reach, I said. I think there's somebody behind that curtain, boss.
It don't make sense saying them crazy words like alakazam and abracadabra.
Stick 'em up. Reach, I said.
Everyone all right? Couldn't be better. Well, Esmeralda, we've been together for a long time, but I never thought I'd see the day when you'd come to my rescue.
Praise the Lord!
Hey, did you hear that? She finally got religion. Come on, Esmeralda. Praise the Lord. I feel a lot braver preaching a sermon than I do publishing a paper. How'd I get stuck with this job anyway? Freedom of the press, Randy, is just as important as freedom of religion. That's why I felt we should get out one honest edition of the paper before it closes down.
You write editorial, then it be all ready.
Yeah, but what'll I say? Say whatever's in your heart, Randy. And save a copy for Tonto and me. We have to go now, but we'll be back again someday. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Citizens of Gold City. The Godless Men tried to destroy us. But the Lord did not desert us in our hour of need. He sent us a man whose name has always struck terror in the hearts of outlaws. A man whose valorous deeds are legion, whose courage is unsurpassed. We shall never forget the name of that man. He's the Lone Ranger.
Be with the Lone Ranger and Tonto same time next week for new dangers in another thrill-packed adventure. The Lone Ranger rides again.
The Lone Ranger.